Okay, fine. So now my screen is visible, friend. Voice is clear, right? So let me know that. Okay. So after then, let's see that how many means what kind of dependency we will use, right? For that one dependency, I will use what is that Hibernate core dependency, right? Hibernate core dependency. After then, Spring ORM dependency. After then, what is that? Spring. What is that? Context dependency, right? After then, to connect with our database. So I'm going to connect my application with what? MySQL database today. Okay, na? So for that, what is that? MySQL connector. Connector dependency, right? These four dependency we have need to put inside our project. Okay, na? So shall we create the project and we see that, right? Shall we create? Okay, na? Shall we create? And don't worry about that, I will explain each and everything again and again, right? Again and again. Okay. So okay, now fine. So I'm going to create the application project. Okay, na? So okay, now fine. Now file, new Maven project. Okay. Next, quick start. Okay. Spring ORM proj. Okay, na? Spring project. App version is 1.0. Okay. Now finish it. Don't leave the session until unless this application is not going to complete. Okay, because if you people uh, leave the session, right, then whatever my explanation is there, all those things will become what unused for you people. That's it. Because here I'm going to give clarity, because we are going to implement these things as a what practical, right? Practical only. So okay, let's so what is that? Application is created. Now what the where the project?
at last.
Yeah, last one. Okay. So this is what our. So first, if we want to work on these models, right? These models. So what kind, which dependency we have need? Just now I explained it, right? So let's actually the Eclipse. Whenever I'm opening the Eclipse, system is going too much slow. Okay. So fine. Now fine. Okay, na. So come here. So which dependency? Hibernate core, Spring ORM, Spring context, and MySQL connector. Four dependency we have need. Okay, na? So let's search it. Okay. So what is that? Spring ORM. Okay, take this one. Copy. Come here. Paste it. Okay. Second one is what? Spring context. Spring context Maven dependency. paste it. Second one is what? Hibernate core. Hibernate Hibernate core Maven dependency. Last one, MySQL connector. MySQL Maven dependency. Okay. Fine. Okay. After then what? After then property Maven compiler also Maven compiler plugin to change our compiler version. Okay. Copy, come to top, paste inside that property. Okay. Okay. Fine. So now save it. After then what is that? Come here. Come in the inside src and the main, right? Main here, what is that? One folder we have need to create. Right click, new, and after then what is that? Folder, right? Create the folder resources. Now finish it. Okay. Now right click on the project, go inside the Maven, update the project, select force updation and okay. Now again Hibernate. Yesterday whatever concept I explained here, I will tell what we are doing here. Okay, now please listen carefully. Now all project environment means setup is means what is that? Come here. Means the things is whatever dependency we have need, all dependency we kept inside what? We kept inside what? Pom.xml. So now let's start our application development. Okay. So let's start our application development. Okay now. So for that, first what is that? We have already beans, right? We have Spring people is given these beans, right? These beans, which beans? Driver manager data source, local session factory, Hibernate transaction and Hibernate transaction. Means these things is given by Spring people. So means this is the bean. So I said that number of bean equal to number of method. Bean method inside what? Configuration class. So first let's create one configuration class. Where in the here only. Right click, new, now class. Okay na? So class, I'm taking one class here. Okay. So the already some Spring is Maven is created. Let's delete it. Okay now, I'm deleting these packages. I don't want Spring sorry, Maven created packages. I want my own packages. Listen from here to listen carefully, because this is we are going to start what? Practical, right? So now right click, new. Okay na? Class. Okay. Class here, what is that? Com.rk dot what is com.rk dot what? Config, config, right? Config. So I'm giving what? App config, right? config. Config. Now finish it. So configuration class is created now. Okay na? So if we want to make this class as a configuration class, which annotation we will apply? At the rate configuration annotation. Okay na? At the rate configuration annotation. Okay, fine. So fine. So if we want to make at the rate conf configuration annotation, right? At the rate configuration annotation. System is such a Okay, at the rate configuration. Okay, now come inside that, come in the diagram, come in the diagram. First class is what? Driver manager data source, but it's implemented, we have need what? Interface. So what we will do now, we will make this interface as a what? Method, and in that method we will write this one. Okay now, so let's, okay now, what is that? Public, what is that? Public driver data source, sorry, data source, right? Source system data source, first one only, java.sql package, right? SQL. So I'm giving what? Ds here. What is this? Come here. Okay now, inside that what we are doing, that driver manager, right? Driver manager data source. Array system. ds equal to what is this? New driver manager, right? Manager data source. Now one more concept I'm going to use it here. Okay now, one more return what is that? Ds, just we are returning what? Ds, data source only. So okay, so if we want to make this class as what? Bean, right? Method bean. So what annotation? At the rate bean, right? At the rate bean annotation we will apply on the top of this method. Okay now, so one more thing, this property url, username, password is a changeable things or not in the real time. These things is a frequently, means today we have need mysql database, so we will configure, right? Tomorrow our client needs what? Oracle database. Then every time to coming inside what? Java code and modifying those things, that is not good things, right? In the core concept I explained or not, what is that? Environment properties. So those things we will take from the property type, because those things is a changeable things or not. Okay, so for that, what is that? Come here, come inside that resources, right? Here we will create one file, we will create in the file here only, right? Inside that, the file name, just I'm giving what is that? Uh, object object, what is that? Object app properties, 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 right? See, this name can be anything, but last property name must be properties, extension must be properties, right? Inside that properties, what we will do now? Data, we will drive what is that? My SQL driver. Second one is what? URL, user and pwd, right? This four property about what? This four property about what? Has just comment in the property file. This is called what? Comment, right? Comment, this is what? Database information, just info I'm giving, right? This is what? Database information. So what we will do now, come here, come in the MySQL. Just I'm copying the properties and I'm saving inside that property, right? You will get where we will use the real time in the real things property, because at the time in the core concept just I given my own implementation there, but here in the project we are using these things for the property. And when I will explain the spring boot, all things is the properties only, right? Here means in the property, this one will become what? Key, and this one will become what? Value, right? This one will become value. Okay, what is this? Second one is what? This one. Okay, this one. Till now, copy till now. After then, what is that? Come here and paste it here. Okay, paste it here. After then, MySQL is a root username, and password also root only, root. Okay na? So root. Okay, fine. So root, these two things is there. Okay na? Root is there. Okay, so fine here, but here we have need to give what? A database name also, right? So come here, come here, open the Yug. This is the setup. It's taking time. I can I know that, okay na. But setup will take time, friend. No. Key name is not fixed. Any whatever your choice is there, you can take it inside that. But when you will work on Spring Boot, at that time Spring people is given. So just see that, right? I'm deleting this one, right? uh, okay. Our employee okay, no, just I'm creating one database here, right? Right click, create database. Create database. What is that? Employee. I'm creating what? We employee one database, right? Inside that we will store the data, right? Inside that our project data we will store it, okay na. So come here, okay, come here. Okay, come here. Okay, na. So employee, employ, employee. You can take anything. This name is not fixed. You can take any name, right? Any name you can take. But for the convenience purpose, I taken. Okay, na. So for that, so I said that if you want to load our what is that? If you want to load our this property file in our app configuration, for that what annotation we will take at the rate properties, right? Property source annotation. Inside that what we will do now, we will pass that object. What is that? Obj object app dot what is that? Properties, properties, right? We will pass inside this one. Then what is that? One environment variable will create, right? Inside that the properties will come. So for that what is the what private here environment interface I explained, friend, right? In environment environment env, right? Env, okay na. Env. So for that, okay na, we will read that data, we will read that data from the property, okay na. So now for that what is that? Come here and now come in the diagram only, right? So what is that? Driver manager data source is there, url is there, username and password. Where? In the driver manager data source, okay, right? Okay na. So fine, come here, okay na. So what is that? Ds dot what is that? Set ds dot what? Set, right? Set driver class name, right? Driver class name, okay now. But what we are going to do, we are going to read this driver manager name, driver class from what is here? From the properties. So the key is what? Unique, right? This one, the this we will copy it, okay now. We will copy it. And what we will do now, what we will do now, here what is that? We will take the reference of environment interface, right? So but environment interface is the what? Object, right? So object. So if we want to inject any object in the spring classes, right? In spring classes, array system is too much slow today. Why? At the rate auto wire annotation is there, right? We will apply on the top of this environment interface, okay na. After then what we will do now, we will take this in env reference, env dot what is that? Get property. Get properties, right? Get property. Inside that we will pass that key, okay na. Then at the runtime what will happen? That property will load here, and in the environment, and the environment, this one will become key and this one will become value. And we want to read that value using what? That key. The method is there, environment interface get property, right? By this property we can read it, okay na. So now ds dot what is that? Ds dot what is that? Set url, right? Set url, okay na. So then env dot what is that? Get property. Get property, okay na. In the get property, in the key, second one is what is that? Second one is what is that? Url, right? Url is there, okay. Url, then we will paste here url, that url, okay na. So now ds dot what is that? Set property, right? Set proper, oh sorry, ds dot set username. Set what is that? Username, right? Set username. Inside that set user, inside this username what we will do now? Env env dot what get property, right? Get property. Here what we will do now, what is the key in the property? URL, right? URL is there. URL already we passed, right? Username root is the username only. Key is the username, right? user, user. We will pass that user, okay na? After then last one is what? ds dot what? Set what? Password, right? Set password. After then env dot what? Get property. Env dot get property, okay na? Inside that what we will do now? Pwd, we taken the key as what? Pwd na? Come here. What is that? Pwd is there, right? Pwd. Okay, fine. Come inside this class. Pwd. Okay na? Pwd. Next what we will do now? Next which one we will take? We will take another property. Means all property we take in here. Okay na? The things is completed, but from where we are reading this property? From the properties file. Okay na? From the properties file we are reading that properties file. But come here, right? So this operation we completed now, okay na? This data source operation we completed using what? Property file, okay na? So after then which object we will create? Local session factory. Which object we will create? Local session factory, okay na? So let's create it, okay na? So so here what input we have need? Data source, okay na? After then what is that? Properties we have need, and annotated class we have need, okay na? These three properties having where local session factory, right? Local session factory, these three properties are there or not? Okay, there. So what we will do now? Come here, come inside this classes, right? So what we will do now? Public what is that? Local session factory bean, right? Local what is that? Session factory. Local session factory bean, fine. Now sf, right? Local session factory, just I'm giving this method name, this sf factory bean, right? So if we want to make this method as a what? Bean. So which annotation we will apply? Bean, right? We will apply what is that? Bean annotation, right? Just I'm taking here what? Null. So if we want to make this method as what? If we want to make this method as what? Bean method. So which annotation we will apply? At the rate bean annotation, right? So after applying this bean annotation, this method will be have what? This method will be have what? Bean method, okay na? So for that, okay, come here. Inside that what? Again we will create local local session factory bean, sf, right? Sf equal to what is that? New new local session factory bean, fine, okay na? So this object is created, okay na? This object is created, but what property is there? Data source, right? So to perform what is that? Session factory. If we want to perform session factory operation, which this data source means to interact with our application database, we have need what? This data source property or not? So okay now property or not? So hey, please unmute yourself. Someone is unmuted. Okay, now please mute. Okay. Now, okay, now SF session factory dot what is that? Session set data source, right? Set data source. Inside that data source, what we will do now? Inside that data source already we taken, right? The data source we taken here. So this method we will pass here, okay? This method we will pass inside this data source method. Means this property will come, whatever property is there, those property we are using here in the session factory method object, okay na? So another one is what? Another one is what? Come here, yesterday discussion, come in the yesterday discussion. So whenever we are performing the come in the configuration file, right? Come in the configuration file. So here see in this here. So in the session factory, which one we need? Driver class is need, right, to interact with database, as well as session factory. What is the need? What is need? Hibernate property also need or not? Hibernate properties also need or not? Okay. So to perform those hibernate properties operation, right, where we will go? Come here, okay na? Hey, who is unmuted yourself? Please mute. Discussion is going on too much seriously. The person is. Hey, Saurabh Maheshwari, I will remove you. Okay. Mute yourself. If you serious about yourself, then come, okay na? Here majak and all those things don't do. Serious discussion is going on, is unmuted yourself and doing other work. Okay, so now, okay na, until unless if you not become serious about your career, right, success is not a easy things. Okay, just one word I'm saying to you. Okay. So now, which kind of operation we are doing that here? See, come, okay na? If you feeling bored, go and enjoy your company. No need, okay? Okay, now see. So, but the hibernate property also need or not? Hibernate property also need or not? Session factory. Our session factory hibernate properties also need, right? So to configure that hibernate property, where we will write it? Okay, come inside that. Okay, now for that session dot, what is that session? Set properties method is there, right? Set properties method is there. Oh, sorry. Set properties method is there, right? Set what is that? Uh, Set what is that? Come here. I already explained here, na? In the diagram. Come here. Okay na, local session factory, what is that? Hibernate property, sorry, hibernate property. It's taking properties, right? It's taking properties. So fine, okay, come in the application, right? Come in the application. What is that? Set the sf dot, what is that? Hibernate. Hibernate, what is that? Set hibernate, sorry, set hibernate properties, right? So but here we can't pass directly set hibernate properties, so we have need to take the this key and this data in the key and the value format, and we have need to store, we have need to store in the what property as object collection legacy object is there or not? Property object. If anybody is asked in interview where we will use what property collection class property, which is the legacy, there I'm going to use it. Okay now, I'm going to use it. So this one is become what is that? These things will become what? Key, and its internal true false, these things will become what? Value, right? So I'm going to these things is right in the property file already we have na. So let's write it. What? Comment hibernate property. Hibernate properties, right? Pro properties, right? Hibernate properties. Okay, fine. This is the hibernate property. Okay, na? Hibernate. This is what? Hibernate property. Fine. So hibernate property is what? Just I'm giving what? Format. Uh, ORM. Just ORM. ORM dot format. Dialect. First I'm giving what? DIALECT. Dialect. Yesterday. People already I explained these things. What is the use of dialect? So format. These are the property of what? Hibernate property. Okay, na? Just I decided to take this key. This one is you can take any choice, our own choice also. No, this is not mandatory to take this one only, right? But the key must be the same. So what is that? What is that? Hibernate dialect class? We will search what? Alt Control Shift plus T, right? If you press it, see, yesterday I searched, those things is there already. So copy this dialect class. Okay, now paste it here. After then what is that? Comma. After then fully package, with fully package, copy this one, right? Copy this one. Okay na? And paste it. It will generate based on the what? MySQL database. Based on what? MySQL database what? Query, right? SQL query. Okay na? Second property is what? ORM dot, what is that? Format, right? Format ORM format equal to, what is that? ORM format, just make as a true. Okay na? Second one is what? ORM dot, what is that? So method is there, right? It will generate the query on the console also, right? It's also by default, what is that? True. False only, so make as a what? True, right? True. Yesterday discussion. Think about that. Why I explained yesterday, right? The application, everything is going through that or not? ORM dot, what is that? ORM dot HBM DDL. Just I'm taking what? DDL. I'm taking create every time my application want to create what application. So these are the what hibernate property, and these things is what database property, right? So okay, fine, the setup is happening, friend. Okay now, please listen the carefully the things. Okay now, the things whatever things I'm delivering, the things is not easier thing, friend. Okay now, and this is the real time project implementation I'm giving, okay, to you people. If utilize it, then this is the benefit for you. If you not utilize it, okay na, so many people are there who is roaming in the market, and just they are thinking that I'm thopu nothing. Without skills there is no success. Okay, improve your skills, that's it. I know only one word. Okay na, set hibernate property. Okay na, so for that here it's here what input need, property need, right? So just take the property. Here I'm taking what public, what is that property, properties, what is that properties. Now prop, just prop I'm taking the method name. Okay na, so return type was just I'm taking what null. Okay, fine. So if you want to make this what property method as a what bean, so what annotation we will apply at the rate bean, right? After applying this bean, what we will do now, come here. Okay na, so property, create the property object here. Okay na, property p equal to what is that, new property, right? New property, fine. Okay now, after then what we will do now, come here, p dot what is that, put. We know that, right? It's taking what, key and value format data, right? Inside that key, what is that key? Now first one is what, hibernate, 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 hibernate dot what is that, hibernate dot dilect, dilect, dilate, right? Hibernate dilate. Okay, so okay now, hibernate dilate. Okay, fine. Here what we will take, we will read the property from value from the what property file. For that, what is that, env dot what is that, get property, because those things is a changeable, friend. Okay now, maybe today we are using what, hibernate property. Oh sorry, env, we are using today what, oh sorry, env, we are using today orm framework hibernate. Tomorrow eclipse orm also there, and another one is ebate orm also there. If end user want those things, then we have need just configure those property, ebate and eclipse orm framework property or not. Okay na, so because of that I taken which is that changeable things is there in the property. For that, what is that, come here, come here, what property, dialect is there, right? Dialect is there, copy this one. Okay na, copy this one, copy this one and paste it here. Okay na, after pasting that, what is that, p dot again put what is that, put. Okay, after putting that, what is that, second one is what is that, hibernate small, this one is hibernate, what is this, hibernate, what is that, so so underscore sql, right? So underscore sql. After then, what is that, another property, let's take all p dot put what is this, here okay now, here hibernate. Okay na, hibernate, what is that, format, format, format underscore what is this, sql, right? Sql, fine. Another one, last one, one more property is what, put dot what is this, come here. Oh that, sorry. Put. Okay na, put and after then, what is this, hibernate dot hbm to ddl dot auto, auto, right? Auto. Okay, this is the property, these are the properties are there. Okay na, so inside that, what we will do now, come here env, what is that, env dot get property, right? Env dot get property. Inside that, what we will do now, we will pass this property, right? Which one, so format, right? So we will pass this one value will come from the properties directly here. Okay na, paste it, orm format, sorry, here you have to pass, this one is here, env dot get property, right? get property. Inside that we have need to pass here show. Here we will pass the show key, this one. Okay, so here what is that? Another one is env dot, what is that? Get property. Fine, get property. Inside that what we will do now? Fine, come here. Okay na, come here. Hibernate HBM to DDL create. This one we will pass it here. Okay, we will pass it this one here. Okay, fine. So now properties our all property we set it in the property. So now what we will do now? Return just p. We will return this property, and I said that come here. Okay, come here. Now if now here in this argument, come in the diagram, right? Come in the diagram here. Okay na, so here what is that? See, Hibernate, it's taking what properties, right? Property object. So come in the application. What we will do now? Just we will pass this method. We will pass this method inside here only, right? Inside here only. But the session have need what model class also or not? So sf dot, what is that? Sf dot, so I'm going to what? Scan one, sorry, whatever things I given here, I'm not going to annotated class, I'm not going to give, right? Directly I will give the package, which is the real time set. What is that? Set scan, 1 minute. Package scan is there, right? Set package scan. I'm taking this class. Inside that I will pass, what is that? Calm down. No, it's just I taken this one na. Why I'm taking, just I'm commenting this one na. At the time when I will introduce that class, model class, at the time if I pass, then you people will get clear picture, right? So I don't want to make the confused. So here what I will return the session factory. Okay na. So till now the configuration is completed. From where to where configuration? Come in the diagram, right? Come in the diagram. Come in the diagram. From here this configuration is completed and this configuration is completed totally, right? So now so internally these things is happening. We don't have need to configure because this is the interface now. So now but still we have need to configure this one or not? We have need to configure this one, right? So okay, let's again write one more class. Okay na. So what is that? Come public, what is that? Hibernate, 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 what is that? Hibernate transaction manager, right? So htm, just I'm taking the method name htm, return just null, right? Return null. Okay now I'm returning null. Okay, so if we want to make this method as what? Bean. Which annotation we will apply? At the rate bean annotation we will apply it. Okay now at the rate bean annotation we will apply. Okay now inside that what we will do now? We will create, what is that? Hibernate, what is that? HIBER. Hibernate, H equal to, what is this? New Hibernate. What is this? Hibernate transaction manager. Okay na. So after then what is that? Come here. Come inside that. It's need, what is that? Session factory or not? Session factory. Hibernate transaction need what? Session factory. Fine. Okay na. So session factory. So session factory, its implementation class is what? Local session factory. Okay na. So for that, okay, come here. Okay na. So h dot, what is that? Set a session factory. Session factory method is there. Inside that what we will do now? We will pass this method. Okay na. We will pass this method. Okay na. Dot get object. We have need, it's a session object, right?